East Coast, 9 a.m. on the West.
And this is Reprint.
This isn't breaking headlines. This is a second look with context added for perspective.
This is Reprint, edited after the headlines.
Good morning to the West Coast, and of course, good afternoon to the East Coast. This is the Reprint presented by Lenox Parker. I am co-host Christal Jordan, of course, with my co-host Victor Flavius, the publisher of Lenox Parker. And today we are premiering our all-new Sports Takes Friday segment. So we have Bottom Line Burke with us today.
Yeah. Welcome. Let me put the cheering on. It's like, there we go. Yeah. Here we are. How you doing?
Doing well. Happy Friday. You know, there's a lot to discuss.
It is a lot. It is a lot to discuss. And we're so excited. If you guys are just watching, we are excited to have Jamal as a resident sports analyst. Jamal is one of the men that I actually listen to what he has to say about sports because he's played the game. He's a former professional football player for the Falcons and several other teams, huge college football star, and just all around sports phenom. So we got somebody here that actually knows what he's talking about. We actually have, we're adding a politics and also a tech resident. So stay tuned. We're excited to have these additions. So, you know, if you don't care about anything else but sports, we got you now. We got you on Fridays. Yes.
Excited. I'm glad to have you here, Jamal. Thanks for being here, and I'm excited. This is gonna be cool.
Being a part of the Reprint. You know, Jamal's going to lead us through. I mean, sports is such a huge part of pop culture now. We were having conversations about it ourselves just because it's a part of pop culture. But of course, before we get into anything like that, we got to talk about what is most pressing on most people's hearts and on our news feeds right now. And that is we continue seeing the backlash on the war that we are in right now with Iran. I just saw a post that said, oh Lord, Trump issues new threat to Iran. And can I tell you guys, not only is Trump issuing new threats, but they are also issuing threats back. I think a lot of times Americans, we think very one-dimensionally in terms of, you know, what we're going to do to someone else, but we do have to realize that there are also consequences on that side. And so today, this morning, right before we jumped on here, I saw where they were saying Iran has allegedly or potentially has sleeper cells here in the United States, and that there would be retribution and there could be danger on American soil. And all this in the wake of President Trump going to social media this morning with some of the most aggressive language yet directed at Iran. And I'm not sure if what I saw was a response to that, but it very well could have been. Trump posted a sweeping declaration that the United States is totally destroying the terrorist regime of Iran, militarily, economically, and more. He called Iran's leaders deranged scumbags and warned them to brace for what was coming that day.
I have a video I wanted to play, if you don't mind, on that. We're good. Let's do it. Okay.
Threats yet. He says Iran's Navy and Air Force are gone. Their leaders have been wiped from the face of the earth. But check out this. Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today. He also adds that these people have been killing people all over the world for 47 years, but now I am killing them. While strikes continue across the region, one of the major points of contention is the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, in a message, Iran's new supreme leader warned the strait will remain closed as a tool of pressure. The New York Times reports Iran is laying more mines in the strait. And with traffic at a halt, this is now the largest supply disruption in history. According to Axios, the U.S. Navy will be escorting ships through the strait, perhaps with an international coalition, but any escort will still be weeks away. In the meantime, Russia is cashing in. We are learning that the Trump administration, they're now allowing a temporary license for other countries to buy Russian oil. They do stress, though, this is a narrowly tailored measure that will not provide any significant financial benefit to Russia. However, Russian officials are now boasting that Moscow is gaining $150 million per day in oil sales since this war began. Adam, it's a lot of cash.
Yeah, so we see what's happening with that stuff. It's crazy.
Jamal, what are your thoughts on just seeing how this is playing out, especially hearing those very, very vitriol-filled words from President Trump this morning? And I guess for me, what is concerning is the fact that we hear Trump, being very, the vocabulary is never his cup of tea. So scumbags, but he's speaking so strongly and negatively about what he wants to do in Iran. There's really no comfort for me as a citizen of the United States about how are we going to keep our country safe? How are we going to find a way to find peace? Because the goal should not be to, in my opinion, as an American citizen, our goal should never be to just kill, thousands or hundreds of them. What are your thoughts on hearing what President Trump had to say this morning?
Yeah, politics ain't really my thing. I just think, like, my grandmother told me since I was a little kid, just got to keep a strong relationship with God. And at this particular time, I think prayer is powerful, and more prayer, more power at this point. Control what you can control, and prayers for everybody. That's suffered in this time.
Yeah, Victor, I know you have a lot of thoughts.
No, we got to be mindful of what's happening in this country and abroad. There's all the repercussions for when things happen. And we don't know. We've never had a major attack on our soil. It's hard to put into words because we don't know what to expect. I mean, right now the gas prices are high because in California here I paid $5.89 for gas the other day, and it's going to go up from what they're saying. We can't expect for a country to go through what they went through and then to sit back and be like, oh, we'll be fine with whatever happens. But we have to be mindful, like Jamal said, prayer, very, very important. There's not much that we can do as a people, but we just got to be mindful of what's going on around us. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's hard to, put everything in words because this is happening in real time, like every minute, every second, bombarded by news about what's happening, but the changes is going on. And so, yeah, it's crazy.
And I hate that this is a part of our conversation every day. However, this is what's going on in our country. And so I think that we do have to be aware, and we do have to be, mindful of it. So outside of President Trump, hold on, we're just looking at, we're going to do a few posts this morning just on trending news. And then of course, our focus today is going to be sports. But I think one of the things that drives war and our concern about the war is the global economy. And even before the first missile was fired at Iran, the global economy was already on an unsteady footing. And I think that's really important for people to understand, because it's easy to say, well, this caused this, right? And I'm not saying that there aren't negative repercussions for what's happening with the administration. However, global consumer prices rose in January before the war started. The BBC Deputy Economics Editor Darcini David reports that economic growth had already lost momentum in the second half of 2025 as consumers, anxious about tax increases and rising unemployment, pulled back on spending. Official data suggests that the economy stalled in January with declines in dining out, hotel stays, and business for recruitment agencies all contributing to the slowdown. Now, the Iran war is definitely adding a dangerous new layer of pressure
Yeah.
With gas prices, we all know that's something that definitely affects. And as I said the other day, gas prices don't just affect those of us that drive to work. It really affects the travel industry,
Yeah.
truck drivers, people that drive, Lyft share, share, uh, Lyft drivers, Uber drivers, buses, like travel is really affected in a total different way than I think people think about. They just think about when I've got to go fill up my gas tank. So the higher energy costs are rippling outward fast, hitting household bills. I know our bill for our electric was unspeakable, unspeakable.
I
I
could
won't even
imagine.
speak of it, right? And so this all has been happening prior. It's not helping, but this was definitely not. I want to make sure that people understand you cannot just blame Trump and the war. I mean, it could be different things that the administration is doing, but the war, not necessarily. Economists at Oxford Economics have warned that if oil prices were to surge to $140 a barrel and remain there for a couple of months, in the UK, the economy could actually shrink totally. Some forecasters are now suggesting growth this year could come in at roughly half of what was originally projected or even less. Um, this is all going to affect us in everything from going to the grocery
Yeah.
store to travel to just daily life.
To the sports, to the games too.
Global. Yeah, it's a
Get that
global
beer.
impact for
Yeah.
sure. When you start talking about oil prices,
Yeah.
especially if they're talking about closing the strait, that's the one of the main pathways that people acquire oil to distribute around the world. So if that pathway is being restricted or stopped, then yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
be exponential economic repercussions that will be felt throughout the entire globe. So that's the
I
that's a major route.
Yeah.
I know they was saying that we had some the IEU, I forget what the acronym for, but they released 400 billion barrels of oil or whatever. But economists were saying that that's only gonna last for so long because we go through so much oil. The countries do, China's affected, Russia's affected, because they get all the oil from Iran too. So a lot of the whole this is a global thing, and we don't want this to become a World War III because that's what they're pushing for. And when I say they, I mean all the powers that be. That they're all struggling back and forth. So we just gotta
Yeah.
be mindful, and yeah, this is gonna hurt us in the pockets in the long run.
For a long time.
The crazy thing is that inflation hit us, and so inflation hit us, and then the administration hit us with the tariffs, and so prices rose because of that, because the tariffs hit the businesses, and the businesses put the tariffs on the clients or the consumer. Now that the tariffs are being taken away, those prices are going to stay where they are. They're not going to come back down to, if eggs was $3 before and it's $3.50 now, it's going to stay $3.50. And, now we have oil prices issues. It's going to go up to $4 and, so it's just,
Once they're on that trajectory, it never comes back. I remember when I got
no,
my
yeah.
car, I won't say the year, but gas was like $99 a gallon. Well, for the gas that I needed, I didn't have a luxury car at that time, so my gas was $99 a gallon, and it has never gone back to that.
99 cents, you mean?
99
A
cents,
gallon?
yeah, 99
Oh, yeah,
cents.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
99
yeah,
cents a
yeah,
gallon. So dollar a
yeah.
gallon, I could fill up,
Oh, I
you
remember
know,
those days.
comfortably.
Yeah, I got to be decades ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah,
decades ago.
yeah.
But in all of this negativity, one of the most American companies in the world. Whether you agree with them or not, the name is definitely synonymous with just the American lifestyle, McDonald's. McDonald's has heard the complaints and they are launching a value menu with items for $3 or less. The fast food giant is escalating its value push with new lower price menu offers set to launch in April, internally dubbed McDonald's 2.0. The new lineup includes $3 and under menu featuring items like a 4-piece chicken McNuggets or a sausage biscuit, along with $4 breakfast meal deals that will bundle a McMuffin, hash brown, and a coffee. These new offerings replace the buy one and add one for $1 menu introduced in 2025 and the franchise group signed off with what the company described as unanimous alignment. So, if
That's
nothing
funny.
else, you can get your sausage biscuit cheaper.
Yeah, but there's no value, there's no nutritional value in that. So
Exactly.
Well, we're
I'm
not going to be
paying
able
for
to
what?
have Whole
It could
Foods.
be 30 cents. I ain't going.
Me neither.
Well,
It could be
Whole Foods is
free,
not
like
going to do
free.
that.
No, no, no.
Whole Foods is not going to do it. True Foods is not going to. All these places.
Nope.
That's why it's our culture is a trip. But in taking a pivot. Speaking of food and food that is cheap and probably not nutritional, but is great. I was listening yesterday to Young Jock in the morning team over at 97.5. So I got to give the ball over to Jamal. And let's start out with this whole Magic City promotion that caused such an
Video.
uproar
Hold on a second.
with the Magic. The Orlando Magic is set to play the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Hawks decided to do a Magic City night, and that caused backlash that has continued. Jamal, what are your thoughts? Tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so earlier this week, I believe on Monday, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver rejected the partnership between the Atlanta Hawks and the local cultural iconic Magic City establishment. I look at it twofolds. There's a cultural part of this component, and then there's a corporate. Culturally, brilliant marketing strategy. When you have when you talk about Magic City and how it just vibrates and so many people go there, as we all know, for the food as well as the entertainment. And from all accounts, it was just simply supposed to be a night where T.I. performed, which he's still expected to do, even though they're no longer going to have that partnership. But it's going to be a lemon pepper chicken wing night and some merchandise that has
Oh,
Magic
that would
City.
have been nice.
Yeah, the sweaters, the hoodies, right? And so it seems innocent, but I think it's a both end, right? So I understand the uproar locally here in Atlanta because locally it would just been a memorable night, something that everybody could get behind and support. Everybody was excited to attend. Now, corporately, I think it's a both end, right? Because corporately, you have to keep in mind what exactly the establishment's main thing is, right? And once you get into the details of that, then you can attach yourself with that just because of the moral clause that's in every contract on every team. And I just think that it's just not a brand that complements each other when you think about the people that don't look like us, that's writing the checks, that the NBA, happily accept to keep going. They're never going to accept that. And that's the thing I think people need to keep in mind.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And I think too, okay, let's say hypothetically they allowed it on Monday, attendance at an all-time high. Now what do you do? The best thing the worst thing that can happen is actually a success. Now it's like you're further and further removing from the big thing, which is basketball, right? From making these different gimmicks to get people to come to see the game, where if you instead improve an actual product, which is the Atlanta Hawks basketball team.
Yeah.
The game, yeah.
That's a good point. And I think, Jamal, I appreciate you looking at it from both ends. I think when I've obviously I live in Atlanta and you do too now, but I know a lot of the influencers here and people were really, focused on the cultural movement, motion of it, right? So we want to see this. This is the culture of Atlanta. But I'm not opposed to a lemon pepper wing from Magic City, but I do understand that people outside of this culture, outside of this city and outside of this culture, they're not in connection with that, right? And I think sometimes we forget that there's a bigger picture. And to your point, like what happens afterwards? Because then if another culture wants to do something that has questionable moral fortitude as well, we can't get up in arms about that. It really opens the door for, if something were to happen that night from a PR perspective, I was like, what if something were to happen and a girl was taken advantage of? Anything could happen. That would
I,
immediately reflect back on the decision to partner with a strip club, honestly. So,
I have questions on that, right? So my thoughts and questions on that is one, food wise, would that be a conflict of interest with the stadium because you're bringing outside food in? I know that's usually it's catered. You pay money for all the venues that are there. So Atlanta the Hawks would have to pay all the venues, I would think. I'm not sure how that would work
well, I
food
think that was
wise.
a part of the partnership, because I heard Magic talking on 95,
We have the clip.
94.5, and he was saying that that was what they were going to do. They were going to, I guess, Magic City was going to do like a pop up, and there would have been
We got
been able to get the wings there at the stadium.
Okay.
And that's really the only thing that's changing. They're still going to come out, he said. You
Yeah.
can't stop them from attending the game. You can't,
Yeah.
stop the Magic City employees from attending the game. They probably attend the game anyway on the behalf of, at the payment of many of the players. They probably are there anyway. So, but I do think from a corporate perspective and a business model, like, you got to look at what would happen. And I think we have to look at, like, okay, we want this because it's our culture, but when it goes to another culture, because that's what happens, right? You open the door and it's like, well, they had a strip club come, well, we can have, somebody, I don't,
Sure.
something else come that we might not be comfortable with. So
I don't know about that because I think if it was Hugh Hefner and Playboy, and they had Playboy Bunny here, things come out. I mean, we already have quote unquote, not strippers, but strip club or whatever. But we have the girls that come out and dance, the cheerleaders or whatever, that come out and dance or whatever, right? No, I'm saying, like, that's been a thing, risque, for years. No, that has been a thing, and every team have a different type of look. Like, you have certain teams have a more risque looking cheerleaders than some teams, and some people will be like, that's not. But
Victor,
I mean, can we,
as a-
let's just call this thing a thing, right? So yes, we can keep dancing around the obvious. What exactly Magic City? People ain't going to Magic
no,
City.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just stating the obvious. The same.
Christal said Mr. Magic, the owner of Magic City, was speaking about this. But let's just keep a thing. We go into his establishment because we love it when Mr. Magic's people make things disappear. Okay?
The wings.
So attending the Hawks game, yeah, the girls that frequent the establishment, actually work at the establishment, will be in attendance Monday night. But we as citizens, we love it when Mr. Magic does his magic trick at his place, where the clothes that they're gonna be wearing at the Hawks game, some way, somehow, magically it disappears. Okay?
No,
And that's where the problem is.
and that's my point. So Victor, as a former cheerleader, it is not the same thing. And no disrespect.
No, I'm not
to
saying it
everybody.
is. I'm not saying it
No,
is.
I'm just saying that cheerleaders, even I think probably one of the most provocative cheerleading companies would probably be Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, right? Every little girl wanted to be one of them when they were their outfits are a little bit more risque, or at least they started that way. But they don't come off, and the focus is not, you don't get a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader doesn't come into the audience and sit on your lap. So and
Wait,
cheerleading,
hold up. Was that what's going to happen at this? That's what they were planning to do? Have
no,
strippers?
I'm just showing the difference between.
I know the difference. I know the difference.
Well, but from what you were saying, I just want to make sure as a
No,
former cheerleader,
I was saying I was referring to your cultural conversation part about other people having their culture. Come on, I'm saying I agree with you. I'm not saying that we need to have strippers there. All I'm saying is that the game has had risque stuff before, but I'm not saying we need to have strippers there. I'm saying
cheerleaders aren't risque though. I don't think. I
not
don't.
now. No, they're not now because of the culture, but 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was a thing.
No. I don't agree
Okay.
with that. I don't think they
Okay,
were
okay.
ever
We can't
risque.
look in the past, Victor. We got to keep our eyes on
Okay,
the
I got the
future.
clip if you want to watch the clip with
Let's
Magic.
watch the
Okay.
clip. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's play the clip. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to introduce this morning on our show, Mr. Magic.
Good morning.
Now, the collaboration really is not necessarily a bad collaboration. I think that there were certain emphasis on the collaboration that got ahead of the collaboration that made people skeptical.
Yeah, they blew it out of proportion. It was just chicken wings in the name.
How did you find out that the promotion wasn't going to happen anymore?
Phone call came in.
Okay.
And somebody told me. And they told you.
That OG light went off. That bing, I kind of.
Big bang take little bang. The big bang going to take the little bang.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lesson in wisdom, because it's like a lot of people, who don't have the knowledge that certain things can't go on. They picture the cheerleaders in thongs and people walking
See,
around.
they took it to all that level,
Yes.
like we were going to turn girls loose on
But
the
y'all already
floor.
said before it wasn't going to be any
It wasn't
nudity at the
nothing.
game.
The game is still going.
Yeah.
CI still set to perform.
Yes, it's going to be great. We still coming out.
Still gonna be in the building.
Yeah.
We,
In the building.
can we still get the lemon pepper wings?
No, I don't think so. No lemon pepper wings.
Said-
You have to come to Magic City to get the lemon pepper wings.
Okay.
You have to come to Magic City to get the lemon pepper.
Ladies and gentlemen,
See, look at even the young lady was deeply disappointed. This thing is like she was viscerally like, wait, I can't get the
I'm
little
not.
pepper wings.
Yeah.
And then he said, hey, at the establishment, and I think that's why the distinction's very important to make. There's a cultural, which is here locally, which is everybody has every right to be outraged, think this is, in an uproar, and everybody's been vocal about that locally. But when you think corporately, you gotta think about the lingering reputational effect. If this
I agree.
partnership actually takes place, what exactly happens actually in Magic City? And even Mr. Magic, respectfully, I know he said it's just a name, but that is your name just is not a name. You know what I mean?
No, it goes a lot with that. Yeah. No, I agree. I was kind of shocked when I first heard about this whole Magic City. I was like, what, Magic City? And the NBA? A family? How we doing? What we doing? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that was just a bad PR call to me.
But I think in closing with it, it might just be a timing thing. Okay, maybe not today, but at least, because I think the most important thing always in corporate is precedence, right?
Yeah.
So if they did it now, it opens up the floodgates to all different types of questionable and conspicuous partnerships.
It does.
So,
Yeah.
But the fact that they entertained it and it went all the way up into a week out, I think that's optimistic for something in the future. Like he alluded to, big bank, little bank, they just need somebody with a bigger bank to have that conversation. And maybe next time, instead of a no, it'll be a yes.
I think also maybe if they had rolled it out different, like maybe an exhibition game or something else where it wasn't so much attached to the main prime time, like a
Not
summer
the
league
NBA.
or
The
something.
NBA should not have been the partner.
Yeah.
Have some of the Magic players come out to Magic City for something else, like, because I think there is smart to use the play on the terms, and I'm more than certain that some of the Orlando Magic players would have loved to do something if it would have fit their contract. I don't know how that would work, but if before the game, or maybe not before, but maybe after the game, there was a way to do something. I think it would have been better than including the NBA with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna go over there anyway.
They are. Magic said,
After the
yeah. And those of us
After
that
the
are
game.
going to attend the game are probably gonna hop in anyway as well. So
Business as usual.
yeah. Jamal, what's going on in sports for us today outside of Magic City and the Orlando Magic and the Hawks?
Yeah, there's a lot. We can pivot on over to the NFL with the recent signing this week of my former Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. He just signed a 1-year contract here with the Atlanta Falcons, which was a very interesting acquisition, just given the fact that He has legitimate health concerns, no different from Michael Penix Jr., the current first round draft pick who just suffered a major injury in his first year starting with the Atlanta Falcons. So it's a legitimate question of why they would acquire a quarterback that's small in stature physically, right? It's not a big guy. He's a left-handed guy, just like Penix Jr. But he's one hit away, literally, from ending his career entirely. So I think it's an enormous risk. I think that they must be trying to still evaluate Michael Penix Jr. The fact that they're both lefties, they're both small in stature, so that means there's going to be a lot of redundancy in the play calling. And I just think that there was better options out there, quite frankly. But the bar is still the bar, which should be a playoff berth. But that also is in question, given the enormous concerns health-wise for both quarterbacks on the roster.
Can I ask you, because here, in Atlanta, we have, there's been a lot of disappointment in some of the decisions. The Falcons and although we're tried and true, I've been converted into a loyal Falcons fan. What is this? We have a new coach, and this new we've lost some players. This is a new addition. Like, what do you foresee for the upcoming season, for the Falcons? And the Falcons fans are overdue for, some wins.
Again, I think the bar should be playoffs, right? They have a outstanding defense. Even though the pending case just escalated and got serious when the state of Florida actually went ahead and charged James Pierce Jr., who had an outstanding rookie year. He's on the defense with 3 felonies. And so that's something to keep a watchful eye out on. But nonetheless, the Falcons still have the best running back in the NFL in Bijan Robinson. They have an all-pro wide receiver in Drake London. And the tight end as well. He's an all-pro tight end as well. So there's a lot of great talent and skill set on offense that I think that the new head coach, Kevin Stefanski, I think that's what he's going to lean on to help, make that transition for whatever quarterback, whether it's Tua, Michael Penix Jr. probably won't be playing till midseason. I think that's they don't have to play superhero. They just have to be efficient, kind of like a game manager, and put the ball in other people's hands. But I don't know. We have to see what this looks like, quite frankly. You ask me about week 6, and I can have a better answer and a clearer picture to what product that they roll out. But again, for me, it's always going to be playoffs. It has, it's a great division to win.
Coach, you have any last minute thoughts on the coach, on the choice and the new coach?
Yeah, I think, my former BC mate, Matt Ryan, he's now taken over as far as being responsible for the players that the Falcons bring in, and then just kind of a general manager role here with the Falcons. So he had an existing relationship with Kevin Stefanski and felt strongly about him, because once he got hired, shortly thereafter, he went ahead and gave the green light to hire Kevin Stefanski. So I have complete faith in Matt Ryan. He's a brilliant football mind. I'm gonna even say he's acting like he's playing spades and let the first hand bid itself. Right, because the bright side of the whole acquisition is only a 1-year contract. So again, I think that they're going to see what transpires performance-wise for both quarterbacks this year, and then I think we could get into really what they have in store this following year.
Okay.
That's a lot of money. Miami still owes him $54 million. He just got a 1-year deal. Man, he's good.
But that's a mistake contractually, how they structured his contract in Miami. So basically how that works is whatever you said, 55 million is owed to him,
Yeah.
and but the Falcons only responsible for the whatever he got with the
Oh,
Falcons. I think it
okay.
was like a 1 year. I don't think it was a lot of money, quite frankly.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
It was
yeah.
two separate things, yeah. Because
Well,
Miami's gonna have a lot of dead. They're gonna have a lot of dead cap money now with his
Okay.
absence. Yeah.
Wow.
okay. All right. Moving on. Can we move on to Dwight Howard and
Okay,
this
let's go.
foolishness?
Okay.
Yes. So
Dwight Howard.
I don't even.
Why y'all laughing at Dwight?
I'm saying it's
I'm
just.
not laughing at Dwight. I'm just
I
the
am.
situation's weird.
I am. I am.
It's
I
weird.
will take it. Dwight Howard announces retirement in the midst of an ugly divorce. Outside of just the divorce, it's just a lot of ugliness, period. Jamal, first of all, didn't Dwight Howard need to retire anyway?
Yeah,
Mm,
but
mm.
it seems like that's commonplace these days as athletes stop playing and they don't immediately say they're going to be retired. Great Camp is like Cam Newton. He has yet to officially retire from the NFL. But
Oh.
specifically for Dwight Howard, this is a very, very unfortunate situation and a very serious one as well. When you put in the fact that his now ex-wife went on video with a bag full of allegedly cocaine and said, "This is the problem and why we're getting a divorce." So that's extremely alarming. And I
That's
know
crazy.
Cameron
Yeah.
on his show, It Is What It Is, guesstimated, eyeballed that it was probably about half a kilometer of coke. He said if he was pressed for a number, he was like, there's 1,000 grams and a kilometer of coke, and he guesstimated it was 575 grams, which was somewhat hysterical that he knew that just off the
Jeez.
eyeball. But in all
That's not a
seriousness,
single.
though,
It's not a
yeah,
single serving.
it's one of them things too where it's something private and personal. No one
Yeah.
really knows what's going on but her. But the fact that she came out with that is extremely alarming. And we just once again we got to pray for Dwight, and I pray that
Yeah.
he goes to folks that could really help him get to the bottom of it and get some clarity and equip him with some tools to help manage emotionally these rocky times that he's currently in his life.
I do want to add that yes, his current wife, his estranged wife now, because they're not divorced, they filed for divorce, but his ex girlfriend slash, I hate the term baby mama, did also come out and confirm that that problem has been there the entire time. Reese, who was formerly on Basketball Wives, and she's had a long history of exposing the problems that they had, co-parenting, and just very, very toxic relationship issues with him. There's long-standing history of that dating back to 10 years when she was on Basketball Wives. So it's unfortunate. According to Reese, she also talked to one of the other mothers of his children, and they've all been, trying to get him some help. Initially, Amy came on as his newest and kind of defended him, and now she's in it kind of like, how you get them is how you lose them. So the things that she was warned about by the other women in his life, she now is reaching out about. How do both of you guys feel about her going online crying with the alleged cocaine? Like do you think that was a move of desperation, or do you think it was an attempt to shame him? I mean, she was crying. She looked overwhelmed. According to police reports, he had locked her out of the house, and there was, some domestic issues, not abuse, but just definitely a lot of toxic domestic issues. So at the point where she posted the video, it did feel like she was at her wit's end, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
why that becomes our plan C to go to the public. But how do you guys, as men, both see that playing out and her going to the public for trying to, get help?
I think that's bad. I don't think anyone should go online and air their personal stuff out online, especially when you're high profile people like Howard and and Amy. I think she should have seek personal help from friends and not put it online, because it's not going to help when you have kids involved, especially when there's kids involved. It's a serious thing, and it's not going to help your case either way. I mean, the the only way it looks like anything is optics, as far as like, is she trying to get money from him or secure a deal for a TV show or drama or something. But personally, it's not going to help their marriage. It's not going to help their family. It ain't going to help their legal battle. I mean, in court, it might, but she's the one showing that the cocaine is in her hand, not his hand. You know, she's showing that stuff. And it's not just a little bit. Now, the authorities are going to have questions. Why do you have so much cocaine? You know, or why do you have a bag full of illegal drugs or whatever you want to call it? But that's not a good look. You don't do that. I mean, in any instance, we've seen the backlash and we've seen what happens when celebrities come out and, air grievances online. So I don't think it's a good look for her personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's done in the dark comes to light, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think a lot of women are attracted to athletes, very powerful men, very resourceful men that can provide people's dreams and fantasies in a day. Mm-hmm. And I think that really what it showcases is the dark side or the reality of how players cope and deal with stress, right? And then even everyday people, we have high stress jobs, and a lot of people, as far as how they escape, these are some of the products that are used: cocaine, alcohol, sex, et cetera, et cetera. And so we have to give space to however people feel like that's the appropriate outlet that they use. I don't agree with it. I always said, keep family business out of the public eye and keep what happened behind closed doors. Yep. Behind closed doors. But at the same time, if I think about in her situation, her shoes, she has a powerful person, right? And this is her mind, whether it's imaginary or real. She wants to try to get somebody's attention, and it might be some good intention as well by revealing the bag. I've never seen that myself ever in life, actually shown actual drug, but I think that was her way of alarming or alerting people that know him, but just are simply not aware that that's his type of behavior and that's what he's into at this part of the life in his life. And it also highlights really or illuminates why he's having repeated interruptions and disruptions in his life, because it's quite simply drugs will do that.
Yeah.
I got a question about the whole retirement. Just a sidebar, like the retirement, the whole. If you're an athlete and you don't retire from the league, what happens to your status? I mean, is this just a formality, or is this something in the back office or back part of what does that mean? Like, if I'm an athlete, I'm active, but I don't retire. I mean, what do I get out of not being in retirement? I mean, to say I'm at.
As far as your status, it's just unretired, right?
Oh, so you can be unretired for like 10 years, 20 years? I mean,
it's a formality, right? Because I think, Victor, you got to keep in mind, not you personally, but people got to keep in mind, man, these are jobs. And
right.
These are privileged jobs.
Right.
As long as you can perform and occupy that spot, then you're catered to, appreciated, and you got all his attention. But once you can't deliver the way they need you to deliver, they just move on to somebody that can actually perform the way they needed to perform. So, yeah.
But if you haven't played in a year and you're still,
haven't declared retirement.
Right, you haven't declared. So just a title? Okay, I got you. Okay.
Happens, yeah.
I thought it was
no
more
different from a play getting released and not getting picked up.
Yeah.
There's It's the same. It's the
I would
same.
think you would just do it for yourself. If I was in a relationship, a brother or a significant other, be like, baby, if you haven't been, then let's just put, because you want to make it seem like it's your decision. I would think that would be the PR I would spend. Like he's decided not to come back, as opposed to
But
he's open and no one wants him.
But I have a question. If okay, let's just argument's sake. Let's say I was an athlete and I retired prematurely. Let's say I'm retiring tomorrow and I retire. If I wanted to come back next year, is there a lot of paperwork involved and a whole bunch of other things involved to get back in, or?
It's the same.
No?
Process.
Okay. Okay.
I think what's grossly underestimated is how traumatic it is.
Okay.
I think as a fan from your perspective, I appreciate your perspectives that you just guys have no idea, like
Yeah.
how devastating or how complicated it is to say goodbye to something that you've known your entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think again,
Yeah.
I just think you have no idea. I think again, that's why this the white situation. We could just say, you know what I mean? Like how men manage to stay at that level to get in that league. People have no idea. I tell people all the time, if you didn't experience domestic violence when you was younger, like if you didn't see your mother get hit, your father get hit, if your father didn't go to jail, if the lights wasn't off, if you didn't miss meals, if something dysfunctional or what the world perceives as bad or misfortunate happened to you, you're not going pro. You're not going pro.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's,
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
Like, I don't know the percentages, but I would imagine it's like 80, 90%. Like, the reward of coming from a good family, a healthy family, structured, is your kid's not going pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a lot of trauma and a lot of misfits, if you would. That's what the commonality is, and that's how you're able to galvanize people from Iowa, California, New York, Florida, Maryland, Michigan, Massachusetts, all in one locker room to for one common goal. So I think people solely underestimate how traumatic and how life-changing, like you're saying, the formality of saying I'm no longer playing again.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I consider myself, I feel like I've been a writer since I was third grade, maybe even younger. And if someone was like, you're not a writer anymore, like,
It's your identity. Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to
If
handle
you've been
it.
Because you're not making millions no more. You're not getting a deal. It's a financial thing that is substantial, no doubt, but also it's relevancy, it's appreciation, priority.
It's who you are.
Yeah, it's just you can't even. No one can tell you or prepare you of that transitional adjustment that you have to make. That's why so many athletes, once it is over, they get in a lot of trouble.
Sometimes while they're playing as well. But I think there's probably something that was really powerful what you said about the building blocks that often lead to someone having the ability to not just play, but to play at that level. But I feel like, when I think about, I went to a football school, University of Oklahoma, and a lot of those players that were considered star players, they came from very, very humble beginnings. Many of them, I remember learning that a lot of them their families were living in houses paid for by coaches when they were in high school, right? So the ability to handle all of a sudden being, you go from being someone that is, liked around your neighborhood because you can play only, right? To being worshiped and chased and have access to everything and being a multimillionaire at 21, 22, 23 has got to be mentally jarring.
Yeah, but that's like later, right? That's the rabbit chasing the carrot, right? They dangle the carrot. Here's a dirty little secret. I'm just gonna tell it to you like this. what we tell ourselves when we come from the areas that we come from, and we're in the environments that we're in inside the house and out, right? Because there's a lot of broken homes as well. The lie we tell ourselves is everything will be okay when you make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay when you make it to the NBA. And you are carrying this trauma, these emotions you have no idea how to articulate, manage, or get rid of,
Right.
right?
Right.
And some of this stuff you never could be able to get rid of, but you don't know that at 14, 15, 20, 25, 30 years old. But the thing that is the most heart wrenching is when you make it to the NFL, you make it to the NBA, you make it to that destination. You thought everything was kind of your life will reset for whatever reason. You think your problems will go away, things will get better, and it doubles and
Money
triples.
magnifies, yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't have time to address the original
Issues.
issues because now you have 101, and now the people that used to be your support system, your confidants, and your place of solace, those are the ones that's betraying you, manipulating you, lying on you, going on social media, trying to get money from this blog, trying to get money from this publication, trying to get money. So now you go from a person to somebody like an object or a bank or somebody that people see as a problem solver for their problems that they got themselves into.
Yeah.
And so you just sometimes until you learn the word no, you get used to putting all your problems and yourself on the backseat because you made it. You're the chosen one. You're the fortunate one. But you also, they always say it's the strong ones you gotta check on.
Wow. That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the relationships are exploited because of that, like what you said, those people that are close to you. Because it's not just always romantic relationships; it be friendships, family, mothers.
Your mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mother, parents, dads coming out of the blue that weren't there that
Yep.
all of a sudden want to be involved.
Right.
But romantic relationships are the one that people are usually fascinated with. So I think this is a good time for us to pivot into the Dak Prescott, and I'm a fan of his. Like, I hate this, Jamal.
It's reality, Crystal. But what specifically do you hate about it? I don't want to guess.
Well, I think that he's a player that has a really clean image. We don't.
Why? Because he got a haircut? Because he's smiling under the lights.
But you know what? As silly as that sounds, from myself, and you guys have to realize, I always speak from a publicity background. That's all I know. That's all I've been. So when I see someone like Dak, he is the perfect. He looks like a player that you can make into. He looks like a kindler and gentler Negro, right? He has good features. He doesn't have, he's clean cut.
Clean cut. Yeah.
He's the type that I would love to work with as a public relations professional because you know that he's marketable. And so
Yep.
that's why I say that. And it's a number of things that make someone marketable, being able to, speak well, articulate, the smile. It's funny, it's something as small with specifically with a black man, someone that smiles openly with no problem, it feels less foreboding. You got some players who are very, intelligent, very well spoken, but they just don't have that aesthetic that would speak to doing what you're doing here, like the conversation and the things that franchises and brands know can be a great fit for them. So and then I also, he seems getting married, and it seems like, I think marriage is always, when a player gets married, especially when they are stable in that marriage. Look at what's the boy that has the basketball player that everyone loves, very marketable.
What, LeBron James?
No,
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Like, he's married, even though his wife does a lot to kind of negate that image.
Tarnish. Yeah.
He definitely comes off, I think, because he's married, he has that family image. He's never done anything. In fact, he looks more like the hero. So I could have seen, and probably still can, I don't know how this is going to play out, Dak Prescott kind of following that type of as far as just the aesthetic and the, he may not have the skill
Yeah.
set, but he could definitely be someone that brands would be interested in if he was able to get that family image. Like he's got it hands down. So that's
Is it
why
because he's light skinned?
not Dictor.
I'm just asking. He's light skinned. I'm asking. Steph Curry's light skinned.
I love from the fan perspective. I always love hearing, what's on the hearts and mind of fans on the outside looking in. Just as a former player myself, I know the quarterback position, they all have strong egos, right? And I think that also something to keep in mind is that the man don't make the clothes, the clothes don't make the man makes the clothes, right?
Right,
And I think that I would have pushed back on you, Christal, just as far as from a woman's perspective, because I think that as much as social media has been extremely problematic and a byproduct to a lot of divorces and relationships, quite frankly, not working out because of the illusion of optionality when the reality of if you have too many options is really a trap, right? But I think that conversely, the narrative of in today's, and this is just my opinion, women want to get what they want, right? At all times. I just don't understand how this young lady who has been bestowed this dreamlike livelihood and reality by having two beautiful daughters with Dak Prescott, who is the face of the Dallas Cowboys. And if you're the face of the Dallas Cowboys, you are an American, well sought off brand's gonna love you because of Jerry Jones, the owner.
Yeah.
It's just not enough, right? That's just not enough for her, right? And because of her refusal from reports, it's all alleged that the reason why they separated is because she didn't want to sign a prenup. My question is, why couldn't you just come up with something else contractually, right? Why can't you say, okay, well, I have concerns about the house. I have concerns about if this doesn't work out. Why don't you guarantee me tens of millions of dollars or anything like other rich, wealthy people structure their deals with their future partners, right? In the event that things don't work out. Because it's been reported that Dak has a net worth of over 9 figures. So I just think that this was misplayed by the young lady. And I hope it works out as well, because I always love it when love wins. But I just think there's just not enough talk about that. Is a misstep by that young lady for not signing up a prenup.
Well,
when you think about the divorce rates, and people don't get married for love no more. This is a contract from the beginning. So in closing, I don't blame Dak. Do you know what I had to do to get to this spot? Do you know what I had to do? Dak Prescott was a free agent. Tony Romanowski, whatever his name, Tony Romo was a quarterback at that time. They was trying to cut this guy for years. He got into the most difficult situations, was able to overcome that, earn a starting position, even when he was deserving and earned an extension on his contract. Jerry Jones didn't do it. He put him in an even more difficult situation time and time again. Look up 15 years later, he's still in the league. And this young lady, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a big disconnect of what we have to do as athletes to occupy these spots than what fans can even begin to understand.
I did hear, hold on. I did hear, allegedly, because we don't know, that there was an indiscretion prior to this. So if he was caught stepping out and they've been together for a while, maybe she felt like, No.
Again, she's finessing herself out the start. Okay, we all big boys and big girls. I'm gonna take the hit for this too. She had an indiscretion, so he was in the streets. Oh, he had another woman, right? Is this new? This been happening since the beginning of time. A wealthy man having more than one woman. Oh my goodness. So,
I don't know. I can't condone
And
that.
that's another
I
thing
can't
too.
condone
And
that.
I'll step all the way in this.
Step on it.
All of these, a lot of
Yeah,
women, they seek these athletes, right, for financial gain, whatever their reasons are, right? A lot of it has to be
Right.
financially motivated,
Right.
but there's other things in that bag too.
There are.
Right. Yeah.
There's other things in that bag
But-
too that we just
But
keep
she got
keeping
two.
under the
She got
rug.
two kids. She got 2 kids with him, so she's gonna get money either way because
right,
you know
absolutely.
she already got 2 kids. So if it wasn't for love and you don't want to sign a prenup,
We're not gonna
like you
say
said,
it's not for love. We're not gonna say
No,
that.
no. I'm not saying that. Allegedly, what I'm saying is, her not signing the prenup. I don't understand that part because if she was in love with him and it was for love, the prenup wouldn't matter either way. You would have figured out a way to get money some other way. You know what I'm saying? You could have come with another contract but you got 2 kids, so you already in because you got 2 kids. And my question is why didn't y'all get married after the first kid? Why wait till the
Probably
second
didn't
kid
want
to
to.
die?
He probably
What-
didn't want to.
And so that speaks to why.
Everybody got different timelines
Yeah.
and preferences and stuff like that. But I would, I mean, if I was a young lady, I don't understand why she just don't consult a lawyer. She has every resource imaginable with that type of income to express her, be able to speak transparently to somebody, and somebody say, "Okay, here's how I think you should approach
Handle
it,"
this,
instead of just being, I guess it's a buzzword, instead of being emotional.
Yeah.
But you know,
And-
sometimes, and I will admit this, I still, I will admit this. Sometimes women are emotionally manipulative, right? And so if I call this off, I know that you probably don't want that, so it may make you cave. Now, sometimes you can get out there and try that, and then it don't work, and it's a huge backlash.
Right.
But it initially could be, I'm gonna call it off, and because I'm hurt and I'm wanting, it's an ultimatum. If I leave, you're gonna come back and accept it, because you don't just give up that. I agree, Jamal. That's a lot. That she's been with it, she's been down with it. She probably just assumed that if she called it off, he would change his mind.
Right.
I
think
don't
she
know.
underestimated. Yes. In closing, I think she underestimated who he was. I think sometimes when you get too close to athletes, I get it. There's just like this Jedi trick that all of a sudden, like, you become, because you enter into an artificial, delusional, very unique world and situation, because we're on the same roads, we take some of the same planes, but they live a completely different life. And so I think that she finessed herself out of that situation temporarily. I think that cooler head should prevail, hopefully. But I just, that's a woman thing. I'm gonna shut up. That's a woman thing. And but that's just
She already got 2 kids.
nonsensical. If you think about all encompassing, it was nonsensical to do that.
Yeah. And I do hate that the relationships of specifically athletes or even Hollywood entertainers that become such public foray. Like, it really is none of our business, what's going on with if he has a prenup or not or whatever. We really shouldn't even know all of this, but it's just the part of the mantle. Heavy is the head, right? So you have all this, and what comes with that paycheck and that access is the fact that we want to know. We want to know. Another very high profile name walking away is Warren Sapp. And it's crazy, Jamal. I didn't even realize Warren Sapp had not gone away. I did not realize he was there because did not know that. Let us know what's going on with this. That is crazy that he was still involved.
Yeah, well, Warren Sapp a couple of weeks ago, I believe, stepped away from the coaching staff at Colorado University, which is the head coach by Deion Sanders. Now, a couple of years ago, Warren Sapp, when Deion Sanders was at Jackson State University, the HBCU, Warren Sapp wanted to be on the staff, but one of the contingencies of being a coach at the collegiate level is that you have to get some type of degree. So Warren Sapp, over the next couple of years, did what he needed to do, acquired the necessary degree to become a coach, and he's been coaching at Colorado for the last year or two. And one of the defensive coordinators from reports, stepped away to get another position somewhere else. And so Sapp thought because he's been doing a phenomenal job coaching that he would be the automatic choice for the defensive coordinator position, but that's not the case. Dion went with another coach, and for what Sapp hasn't really publicly expounded on why he left, he decided to leave. And so I think that might be, when it's all said and done, these next year or two, a telltale sign that it's time for Deion Sanders to step away from coaching and just to enjoy his family. Because I think something that he hasn't realized or underestimated, because sometimes you can be so emotionally involved in something that blinds you, right? And I think the blind spot is the repeated health issues, the serious health issues over the last several years since Jackson State, when he had to get one of his toes amputated. And I think that he's had afforded his sons to have him as a coach.
Yeah.
From the first time they practiced in Pee Wee up into the NFL, which is unprecedented. I think it's a both in again. It's a both in. What I'm about to say, it's kind of like a drug dealer. He doesn't understand. He's also addicted to the game too. What I mean by that is the game. Dion, he's the greatest cornerback to ever live, but also I think he's underestimated a lot of his love or the coaching, like his just for it is because he was coaching his sons. Now that he's not coaching his sons, it's different.
Yeah. It is different. Yeah.
It's
Dion,
different.
Dion reminds me of Michael Jordan. He should be like Michael Jordan. Just enjoy your money. Just go out there and just enjoy life. I mean,
Michael Jordan's still competing though. He was here recently with the NASCAR. He's still he's never going to stop.
3 NASCAR races in a row. It's easier said than done, Victor. Like again, I think
no. I'm not saying to stop, quit, and just sit down and do nothing. I'm saying as far as like, his coaching and his playing. I get it. It's in you. So do something, but you don't have to be, the center of attention for everything. But I guess it's in him to do that. So
he is prime time. He's prime time. So he's you can't get the prime time out of the man. He's prime time. I think it's ego and
rock until the wheels fall off. That's right.
He may not be able to, but he would probably try to. Sometimes what we feel we can do or we can actually do are two different things, but he was that's a whole different beast.
He's he's 101. It's just the trade-off. It's the sacrifices that's required to occupy these spots that he's comfortably and effortlessly done at a very dominating level. But I just think I kind of equated to a little bit of the Tom Brady. You kept going for another year, then it cost you your marriage. Then now it just reports that he said he's not the type of father that his dad was. So there's just at some point
trade-offs.
These demarcation lines are real things.
Wow. What do you think about Warren Sapp's future, for him stepping down? Where do you think he's going to end up? What does this mean for him?
I think he'll find another coaching opportunity if that's what he likes. But it seems over the last decade, Warren Sapp has been a free-spirited person. He's traveled the world, and he speaks when he feels like it on social media about different football topics. But again, just like we're talking about Dion, it's in him. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest defensive linemen to ever play. So again, you're going to get the itch. Because when you watch the game, you see the correction, you see what adjustments needs to be made, and how to develop players and how to talk to players. And once you get in those environments, it just feels so good. It feels so natural. It feels so comfortable because this is something you put 20,000 hours in. This is something that allowed you to experience everything you've experienced in life.
It probably feels like home more so than home because you haven't been able to be a part of the family. You are the the bright light, and then when the light is off, where do you don't fit. You don't fit with the family. You don't fit. You know.
It's the adjustment. And again, in closing with it, like your whole, we say it all the time. Your whole life, we try to separate from everybody, right? So then, when you become an NFL, NBA player, NHL player, whatever, you're part of the 1, 2, 3%. So that means 99%, 98%, 97% of people don't know where you just came from.
Yeah.
When you get back, when you try to reingratiate yourself back into society, so you are disconnected from that large percentage. So that's why it takes so long for athletes to find something that's familiar and that they could be successful in again out here in the real world. That transition is like no other.
Yeah. Lastly was sports today on our inaugural Sports Takes Friday show. I don't know if this is redemption or what. You'll have to give us the backstory, but Glenn Big Baby Davis, former NBA forward, was just released from prison after serving time for his role in a massive fraud scheme involving the NBA's healthcare benefits program. He wasted no time letting the world know he was out, posting a video on X declaring, "They tried to hold me down, but I'm back, man. I'm back, baby." Jamal, what are your thoughts?
I'm just happy he's free, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's free.
That's right. Yeah.
And prior to him going into prison, we talked about it. I just know he has children that he loves, and it's good for a father to reunite. And I'm just so happy he's free. It's something he's learned from. Obviously, he just made a poor decision. He was in a desperate situation, or he thought he could get away from something. They go to action, that athlete delusion. You know what I mean? And then you find out, people don't feel about you, or they are not going to look the other way or make things go away like they always did when you was actually playing. So, in short, I'm just happy he's free. And I'm actually excited to hear what Victor got to say about this.
Nothing. I'm
You
nothing
got
at all.
nothing, Victor. You got nothing. Oh my goodness, you got all these other topics. You had a lot to say. You ain't got nothing to say, Victor.
I'm gonna say this. I'm happy the black man's home. That's all I gotta say. Like you say,
Victor believes in prison reform.
Yeah,
Victor definitely believes in prison reform.
I believe. I'm glad that he did his time.
Right.
And because we've seen other men of other colors don't even go in. They just get a slap on the wrist and whatever the case is. So
especially with that type of crime, that white collar, that was like fraud benefits. I don't even understand how he did that. I'm used to hearing either someone has figured out a way to bankroll something that's illegal, or the betting. There's a lot of betting and stuff going on with professional games. So he did kind of like a white collar crime, got 40 months for it. But I love the fact that he was like, got out and was like, I'm back. He's embraced.
Looks healthy. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I agree.
A lot of times, because I mean, I've never been to jail, and I pray I don't ever go to jail. But it's like, he went in, he did his time, he came out, he's strong, he's healthy. There's a lot he has to deal with, with his family and with his mental, like you say, even after the game, just a lot. So for him to, in this time, to come back, it will be. But I mean, at least he has his mental capacities is somewhat there, and that's good. That's all I gotta say. That's what I gotta say. That's it.
All right, cool. And I know it's a white collar crime and everything like that, but Christal, you have a daughter. You've been taking care of your daughter your whole life, no different from the NBA has been taking care of Big Baby. If your daughter one day just so happened to want a pretty dress so she could look pretty in pink and goes into your purse and steal your money, never tell you about it, shows up with a dress and you don't know how she got the finances to do it, and then one day you find out she stole from you. Guess what? Pop. She deserves a slap on the wrist. The brother deserves to go to jail for what he did because of what he did.
What did he steal? How much did he steal? I forget. How
No,
much did he
it's a
steal?
scam. So it's basically like an insurance thing. So they put money allotted for retired players.
Okay, yeah.
You know, we don't want to get into all the details, but they basically lied to get more money, so they scammed the system. Thus, there's consequences. So, but again, I think we're all in unison about we're just happy he's free.
Yeah, he's free, and you know, for him posting immediately. That was kind of surprising for me. To me, that means he's gonna be vocal. He's letting you know he probably is there trying to figure out what his next step is. And I do think that this is a culture right now that is open to redemption. So if he, you know, whatever he decides to lean into, if he does it in a positive way, you know, him coming out and acknowledging I'm back, you know, I did it and I'm back. He could end up being very successful in this climate because people are open for redemption. So
he could have a speaking tour. He could definitely do a speaking tour at this point. So.
Do a lot,
yeah. Well, I think that is going to be it for today's edition of the Reprint Sports Takes Friday. Jamal, let us both say that we just are so excited to have you. Your energy, your foresight. I definitely, you know, I've known you for quite a few years, and I think there's so much value in having an analyst that has real-time experience on the field and is able to speak to that, not just from the physical perspective of it, but also the mental perspective of it. And I think a lot of times when we read these headlines, we are reading it from a fan's perspective, and so that is the best part about having you. That you're a secret weapon because we have someone that's in sports that has had first-time experience. So we appreciate you being here and just want to extend a bigger welcome, a personal welcome again from Victor and myself.
Now I received that, and I learned from you guys as well. You know, that's why I keep encouraging Victor. I want to hear what Victor got to say because I don't. And
I'm trying.
No, I think it makes it like it's a great compliment because, you know, folks think like everything that's out there because that's what's out there, but then it's something where when you get a chance to talk to somebody who's you know been there, done that, there's no substitute for that. So that's what I'm gonna bring. And anybody who got questions, it doesn't matter if it's about anything we talked about today or if you just have something personal. Just like Victor, you was asking about what happens if you retire, you don't officially announce.
Yeah.
So those are the type of questions I look forward to answering, and I'm just excited to be a part of this. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got some big things. So next week, we're not going to do it this week because I am at my mother-in-law's. I come here sometimes on Friday to help with her. But next Friday, after the reprint here, we're going to go live on IG. Okay. And that'll allow us to have a conversation. Jamal will answer some questions. I'm sure there'll be a lot of sports headlines because, like I said, just as of late, sports, I think people are obsessed with athletes. You know, they're those warriors. They're real life warriors that people are really interested in their lives. They're interesting, and I think coming from the entertainment world, a lot of times rappers and of course their girls would all be obsessed with athletes. So I think it's kind of like people have a lot of questions. People are interested, and I think that's why you constantly see professional athletes as a big part of the conversation in pop culture. So
not the name drop, but I will. I remember when I was working with at Fat Farm with Kamar Lee Simmons and Russell Simmons. Mm-hmm. We had an impromptu visit by Ice-T.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
He said, you know, when a woman finds a man, it's the right time. When it's the right time, a man finds the right woman. I said, ooh. but he said when he found out I was an athlete, he said, man, you at the top of the food chain, brother.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And that's Ice-T.
Ice-T, yeah.
Right.
Because I'm an athlete. Oh, you at the top of the food chain, brother.
Yeah.
Never forget that. No.
Wow.
Yeah. That's but I mean, I think there's a innate respect for people that are in their position because of actual hard work. And no matter what you can say, like, you know, you can hit a lick as a, I don't want to discredit any artist, but you look at someone like a designer, right? That had a hit record with Panda. That was a, you know, was that talent? Was it a fluke? I don't know. But when you see a professional athlete regardless of what you think about their personality or their persona, you know that they put in the work to get there. That's not something that you can get on a fluke. That's not something that you can get because you're attractive and you just happen to be with the right significant other. That is something that there is a respect that has to be given. You don't have a choice but to give it up to somebody that's put in the hours, many more than 20,000, to get
Oh,
to
yeah.
that point. You talk about from little league up, they've done that.
Pee-wee
And
league, yeah.
Pee-wee league,
You
yeah.
can get
So
to college and squeeze your way in there. There's plenty of athletes I see now. Like, damn, how did he get here? But
there's still
that's
a lot
real.
of
That was real. You can get to college. You can get to college.
Yeah.
But to the pros, nah.
There's only what 500 NFL players in the league. 500 and what? What's the number?
Good question. Sheesh, I haven't heard that.
Some-
I know it's
some-
450 in NBA. I don't have that readily, like. in
Yeah,
my-
pull it up.
but
Let me pull it up.
but you see how small that number is, and we think we because we don't. Someone told me that before, and I was like, what? I didn't have to stop and think for a minute because you think there's so many players. No, it's only 500 players in the league.
There's 1,600.
Okay, 1,600, right. Okay.
Total active players
Active,
in the
okay,
NFL,
right.
and that's
Okay.
everybody that's on the team. That's
Yeah,
not everybody that's
That's
playing.
not a lot of people.
No,
Yeah.
but it's still like out of that 1,600, not all of them are playing. That's
Gotta be
everybody.
about it gotta be about 500-600 because the rest is staff. You think about
Yeah.
all the teams and
Well, or
But I'm
bench
saying it's a small number to get into that league. Yeah, it's a small, and like you said, the NBA is 400 and some players. So
450.
yeah, that's a small number. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that level and to get into that league and to play, it's,
And there
it's
are
hard, yeah.
women are very I think it's not, I did my capstone paper on this for college, my undergrad, the science of attraction, right? If you look at of course, there's this idea we want someone that can provide. In Animal Kingdom, the female is looking for a strong male because she wants protection. And I think we are at our base animals, and I think that's why athletes are usually at the top of the food chain. They're strong. They're by nature of what they do, they have to be strong. By the very nature, they have to be physically strong. And then of course, because of the way our culture is set up, they're going to out earn most people. But I think there's something just about that base of being physically strong, being seen as those gladiators that are the idea of masculinity, right? That is associated with that. So there's a lot that goes into the psychology of it. But at the end of the day, I think that's also part of the problem is that they're put on a pedestal and we forget that they're people, right? With hurt, with toxic, with all this stuff going on. But when you are Dak Prescott, we don't care. I don't really, people don't care about your trauma. They care about how many points you scored and, what you're driving and all that. That the idea is not of him being a real person. So, again, I think that's the beauty of us having Jamal here to offer his insight. Like I said, we're going to advertise it after next Friday. We'll do the full show. And immediately after that, we'll go to Instagram with the little BTS of the remix. So other than that, we want to wish everyone a blessed weekend. We appreciate everybody that's checking this out live, or if you're listening and watching the replay, we want to wish you a blessed weekend. We want to encourage you to keep your head up. I do have our quote of the day. I got to quickly do our quote of the day and quickly do our Black History business that we want to support. So today's quote of the day from Snap Yourself into a New Reality is, "It is never too late to embrace your authentic self. Your best life is waiting for you to show up. One decision and you're off to your new beginning." But I love that beginning. It's never too late to embrace your authentic self. Please know that is the version of you that is going to win, your authentic self. And so when we look at our Black-owned business of the day, Black-owned business of the day. And Victor, I didn't get you a picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a slide for that one.
Yeah, of this business. You know what? And I'm trying to think because I don't want to give away people's personal.
Let's do it next time.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. We'll do
Let's
two.
do it next time. Yeah.
We'll do
Yeah,
two.
we'll do
That
next
way
time.
we can
Yeah.
have it because we have an insurance company, so I want to make sure that we highlight them and give their information. But you all have a blessed weekend. Make sure that you check into the reprint. Make sure that you are subscribed on LenoxandParker.com. You can also make sure that you're following all three of us so that you'll know when these things are coming up. We'll have some snippets from today's show coming for you over the weekend. But other than that, this has been Christal Jordan, Jamal Bottom Line Burke, and Victor Flavia
Yes.
signing off for
Signing off.
Take care.
Okay. Thank you, man.